Before the ages of the sun and the moon began, it was Feanor who created 3 marvelous stones. They are called the Silmarils, and thousands of years later, the dwarves from the line of Durin found the Arkenstone deep beneath the lonely mountain. Are they one and the same? We will find out later in the video, but first let me know in the comments, what do you think? Before I give you my answer, we're going to take a deeper dive into the origins of both stones. It was Feanor, born in 1169 during the years of the trees, who created the Silmarils. He was a skilled smith and he created a lot of gems and stones, such for example are the palantir. These are the stones that were later used in the 2nd and 3rd age for communication with one another. I have a whole video that explains everything you need to know, and you will see a pop-up with the link on the top of the video, so you can watch it later after this one. Like the crystal of diamonds it appeared, and yet was more strong than adamant, so that no violence could mar it or break it within the kingdom of Arda. Yet the crystal was to the Silmarils, but as is the body to the children of Iluvatar, the house of its inner fire, that is within it and yet in all parts of it, and is its life. And the inner fire of the Silmarils, Feanor made of the blended light of the trees of Valinor, which lives in them yet. Now the trees have long withered and shine no more. Therefore, even in the darkness of the deepest treasury, the Silmarils of their own radiance shone like the stars of Varda. And yet, as were they indeed living things, they rejoiced in light and received it and gave it back in hues more marvelous than before. They were later taken by Morgoth after the destruction of the 2 trees, who put it on its iron crown as the king of Middle-earth, or at least tries to be, am I right? Now that we know what the Silmarils look like, let's continue and see what the Arkenstone is. A Balrog awoke deep beneath the realm of Khazad-dûm. It killed King Durin IV in the year 1980 of the 3rd Age, and 1 year later the Balrog killed his son, Nain, as well. So it was then Thrain I, grandson of Durin, who became the king of Durin's folk. Because of the Balrog roaming the realm of Khazad-dûm, they had to leave it behind and find a new place to live. So King Thrain led his people to the lonely mountain and founded the great dwarven kingdom of Erebor. There they mined for minerals and gems and eventually found the Arkenstone. Thrain called it the heart of the mountain, and it became an heirloom of the kings of Durin's folk. It was said that it showed with its own pale light, but when outer light fell upon it, it changed it into 10,000 sparks of white radiance, shot with glints of the rainbow. So you see that there is a resemblance in these descriptions of both stones. The Silmarils were created during the years of the trees, and the Arkenstone was found in the 3rd Age. Let's see if we can find a connection between the two. We know that Feanor created the 3 Silmarils, but what happened to them? The first one was taken from Morgoth's Iron Crown by the Lady Luthien. She stole it together with Beren, and years later it came into the hands of Elwing, their granddaughter, who wedded Eärendil. When Eärendil sailed to Valinor to ask for help against Morgoth, Elwing still possessed the Silmaril, and she was attacked by the sons of Feanor, who still held on to their oath that they had taken many years before, and Elwing couldn't bear the thought of being slayed by elves, that she jumped into the sea together with the Silmaril. For Ulmo bore up Elwing out of the waves, and he gave her the likeliness of a great white bird, and upon her breast there shone as a star the Silmaril. As she flew over the water to seek Eärendil, her beloved, on a time of night, Eärendil at the helm of his ship saw her come towards him, as a white cloud exceeding swift beneath the moon, as a star over the sea, moving in strange courses. A pale flame on the wings of storm, and it is sung that she fell from the air upon the timbers of Fingalad in a swoon nigh unto death for the urgency of her speed. And Eärendil took her to his bosom, but in the morning with marvelling eyes he beheld his wife in her own form beside him, with her hair upon his face, and she slept. Eärendil used the light of the Silmaril to guide him to Valinor. The Valar then set the Silmaril as a star in the sky bound on Eärendil's brow as he sailed the ship through the sky. The other 2 gems remained with Morgoth and were later taken by the Valar during the War of Wrath, only to be stolen later by the 2 last surviving sons of Feanor, Maedros and Maglor. But the Silmarils burned their hands because they were unworthy of all the evil deeds they have done. So Maglor threw his Silmaril into the ocean, and Maedros threw himself into a fiery pit together with his Silmaril. So the Silmaril that Maedros carried was thrown into the earth. So there is a possibility that this stone is actually the Arkenstone. We don't know where Maedros killed himself, but it has a high probability it would be in Beleriand, where the War of Wrath took place, and not in the area of the Lonely Mountain. So for this reason it would not be a Silmaril, and I can even give you 2 more reasons for that. The second reason is that the Silmarils were hallowed by Varda, so that no mortal or evil being could touch them without harnessing themselves. That is why both Maedros and Maglor's hands were burnt when carrying the Silmaril. They were indeed immortal, but because of all the evil they did, led from the oath they swore, they were unworthy to carry the stone without getting burned. When we take a closer look at the story of the Hobbit, the Arkenstone was held by dwarves, men and hobbits, or in this case just Bilbo of course, which are all mortal beings, and there is no recollection of any of them being burnt. The only mortal who could carry a Silmaril without being burnt is Beren, and if you want to know why, let me know in the comment section so I know that you want a video about Beren in the near future. The last and final reason why the Arkenstone is not a Silmaril is simply because when Tolkien wrote The Hobbit, it wasn't supposed to be part of the story of Middle-earth. It was supposed to be a separate tale, a children's tale, although the thought of the Arkenstone was inspired by the Silmarils. The word Arkenstone came from the Old English word Eorclenstan, meaning precious stone. That may be reminding him of the Silmarils. So although it would be amazing to have another connection between the early days of Middle-earth and the Third Age, the Arkenstone is simply not a Silmaril, although Tolkien based his idea on it for the tale of The Hobbit. If you found this video useful, then hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like the video. If you enjoyed this video and made it all the way to the end, then you will definitely enjoy the next one. It also covers precious artifacts from Middle-earth. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.